Say yes every day to the world and to your heart. Open up your eyes and let your spirit start. Say yes to the dreams you hold inside. Let your soul be your guide.
Thank you for joining us today for another episode of Wednesday Wisdom. Today, we are joined by the incredible Madison Keenan. She is a mortgage professional with Cross Country Mortgage, known for blending strategy, creativity, and heart to help her clients navigate today's competitive market with confidence. She is a New Jersey native with a background in marketing and business management. She earned her loan originator license in 2020 and quickly built a reputation for crafting smart, customized financing solutions. She's licensed in New Jersey, South Carolina, Pennsylvania, and Florida. And Madison brings a multi-market perspective to supporting women, families, and entrepreneurs. She also serves on the board of directors for Women with Vision and co-hosts the award-winning podcast Laugh, Lend, and Eat. She's passionate about mentorship and representation. She leads with boldness, empathy, and forward-thinking mindset. Madison, thank you so much for saying yes to joining us today. And we like to kick it off with, we learn all kinds of things as we go through life. Some things we're taught early in life. Some things we learn along the way through mentors, podcasts, different things we read. And so I want to start off today with, what is a piece of advice that kind of sat with you, that you've applied to your life, that you would like to share with all of us?
All right. So it's actually very simple, but I think I've been able to kind of apply this to multiple areas of my life. So when I was a loan partner assistant before I got licensed, my branch manager at the time, he always told me, act as if. And he would say it over and over and over again, act as if you're already successful, you're already a loan officer, you already have the business. And that, I think, tied a lot to not feeling confident or not feeling ready. So I think what I took away from that was, you're never going to be 100% ready, no matter what it is. Or you can plan and prepare and, think that, okay, I have to hit a certain inner state of being in order to get to where you want to be, or I have to have enough people and resources and this, that, and the other. So I often reflect back on the act as if, and just try and, already act as if I have the knowledge, I have the tools, I have the resources, I have the confidence to do whatever it is I set my mind to.
Wow. And Madison, number one, smart advice. Smart advice of the person that gave it to you, and smart advice of you sharing that with others. Because, and as you're saying it, I'm thinking about, I go through this morning routine that I am constantly telling myself the vision of my future. So I'm always saying what my future will look like, regardless of, there's no question that's happening. Like whatever it is that I'm saying to myself, it's happening, right? Now, to your point, I have no idea how I'm going to accomplish that. Like I don't have all the steps in the middle, but I know it's going to happen because I'm acting as if, to use your words. Right?
And even in something silly like, okay, if you're not a morning person, act as if you're a morning person. Start doing the things that you need to do, whether that's go to bed earlier the night before, setting an alarm that doesn't sit, on your phone next to your nightstand. It's across the room. You have to start acting as if you already are where you want to be, or you're already accomplishing what you want to accomplish. And then it's about, like you said, figuring out the steps and the things in between to get you to where you're going. Because sometimes we have these big, grandiose ideas of, okay, I want to accomplish this, this, and that, and my 5-year plan and my 3-year plan. And, you go through goal setting and all of that. My New Year's resolution, right? Like that's another one. So I think if you already start to act as if you're going to accomplish it, you already are where you want to be, and you already have all the tools and the knowledge and the confidence to get to where you're going, that those 3 words have truly carried me through the mortgage industry in the last 5 years, personally and professionally.
Yeah, and even as you were saying it, the other things that were going through my brain is how many times I've had conversations, and I can think of a team member that has worked with me a lot of years, and I remember him coming to me. Now his kids are now 10 years old, but I remember him coming to me going, Laura, I just don't know if it's a good time to plan to add to our family. You know, the mortgage industry is so busy right now, and it's on set. Now, this is 11 years ago, right? We're having this conversation. Right. And I remember turning to him and going, it doesn't matter what year or what time we're having this conversation. You're always going to come up with the excuse as to why
you're not ready,
the perfect time, why you're not ready, why you don't have this, why this isn't right. I said,
this person has more than me. This person's doing that. It's like you just get into this comparison game of I'm not ready, I'm not there, I'm not who I want to be.
Exactly.
So therefore I can't accomplish the goals that I have in mind.
Correct. And I think back that I had told him you're always going to come up with those reasons. Yes. So just do it. Like, just you and your wife, let's just do it, right? And he did have those kids, and those kids are now 10. And he tells me all the time, thank goodness I had that conversation, because we were putting it off and saying it's not the right time. And guys, there will never be a perfect time. Never be the perfect time to take that risk. It'll never be that perfect time to try that new thing. It'll never be that perfect time to go after that big, hairy, audacious goal. Like, it's never going to be that perfect time. But if you act as if, it will fall into place. And I like to call it, I say that the people you do business with or who's in your circle are attracted to you based on who you are, right? Like, you're kind of like drawn to some people, right? And I think that as we start acting as if, different people come into your circle at that moment because you're acting as if. What are your thoughts about that?
100%. And the first thing that just came to my mind was when I joined the board of directors, I was newly I don't even know if I was licensed at the time, maybe like brand new license. And I'm sitting here like, I'm going to apply for a board of directors position when I'm not even licensed or haven't even closed my first loan, sort of thing. And that same mentality came into play, where it was like, you find the people who believe in you, even when you don't believe in yourself, or the people that know that you're capable of accomplishing things that you can't even see for yourself or you haven't even accomplished for yourself. So 100% who your sphere of influence, I like to call it. And they get influenced by you just as much as you get influenced by them.
Exactly right. Now, Madison, I want to touch on that, right? Because, you and I have grown a lot together, right, over these last 6 years now. And I want you to speak to the people out there that are holding themselves back of going, well, that's easy for Madison to say that, right? Madison landed, she got on the Women with Vision board of directors. She's doing this amazing podcast with Fabi, and she's in this circle. And look at how easy it is for her. What is the advice for those people out there that are kind of saying, no, well, that's good for her, but that's not good for me. Like, I can't do that. What is the recommendation?
So I learned very early on. So I was in my early 20s. I'm going to be 30 in next month. So it's kind of crazy that we're coming like almost a decade into this. But if you don't ask, the answer is always no. And so for me, it kind of was like a kind of that, but then also like, if you don't reach out or you don't try something, then you never know what will happen. So for me, being new in the industry, not having these connections or this book of business that I was walking into, I was just like a do everything once and then learn from it. Try events, try different groups. I was part of a BNI for a little bit. Changed companies at a certain point in my career just to see what was being offered that I didn't currently have. So my mentality was like, just quite literally just do it. And I know yours is always say yes. And so that kind of mentality, I feel like, has carried me through that led me to the opportunities that I have, or the positions that I have now, or, where I am currently in my business, was just like not taking no for an answer, not being afraid to ask. Otherwise, the answer was always no. And trying everything once, because I feel like there's no successful business person that hasn't failed at least, 500 million times. And having, people in this industry that I could look up to, mentors, people that were just coworkers of mine that were doing it a little longer. I always came back to, well, we all started from nothing. We all started at, ground zero. And the people that really take advantage of opportunities or find the ways to pave those opportunities for themselves, they're the ones that you end up looking up to, because they weren't afraid to ask. They weren't afraid to say no. I mean, how many times have I come to the board of directors meetings needing advice on a specific thing, or needing an opinion on something? Am I crazy for thinking this? Has this ever happened to someone else? So I just made it a point to meet everyone that I possibly can, talk to everyone. But then also kind of flip-flop that. Some people will tell you not to do certain things. And I think it's very important for you to kind of take inventory of, are they telling you not to do something because they're not comfortable doing that themselves, or they've tried that and it didn't work for them? Doesn't mean it wouldn't work for you, or wouldn't be a reason why you shouldn't do something just because someone's telling you not to. And at the time when I was joining the board of directors or applying for the board of directors, I had people telling me, oh, don't do that. Don't waste your time in these platforms, or don't waste your time doing something. Focus on sales, focus on business, focus. And I was like, no, I need a community. I need a support system outside of calling and doing my loans and everything like that. So never be afraid to ask. Yeah.
That's really good, Madison, because you're right. You kind of play devil's advocate there, because although, yes, we all agree, right? Say yes, take the opportunity, try things. But you also got to remember that after taking in feedback from other people, you still have to run it through your filter, right? Meaning you have to run it through your life filter. Right? I'll give an example of whenever I'm speaking, and especially to women, and of course we're not just speaking to women today, but especially when I'm speaking to women, sometimes women say, well, I can't go to every conference, and I can't, work all hours of the evening because I have little ones, right? Or I'm expecting, or I'm whatever it is, right? And what you have to always remember is that everyone is in a different season. Yeah. Even if you're exactly the same age, it's not about age, right? Depending on, let's use Madison, that's turning 30, right? So at that stage, she is in one season of her life where the next person could be in a completely different season at that same age, because maybe she's new to the business and the other person has been doing it since they were 17, working for their parents' mortgage company, and that they've got that. So always keep in mind, yes, take the opportunities and bring in that different pieces of advice, but filter it through your life, through your season, to how it applies to you. And the most important piece of advice that I want to share, your life is your life. So it doesn't matter what someone else is doing. Regardless of you go, wow, that's really cool that person is doing X, Y, Z. That doesn't mean that that's how you have to do your path. Your path. I always, make it yours. So go ahead, Madison.
I was going to say, and just saying with this, with the no aspect of it, I have kind of reframed my brain to be if it's not a no, it might be a not right now. And that shifts a lot of things, because like you said, you're in different seasons, or, there's good markets and there's bad markets. And maybe on the bad markets, you're not spending money on certain things, but in a good market, that money that you can apply towards this event or, whatever platform it is, that might be the right move for you at that time. So that's why I always say, it's great to have mentors and it's great to get advice and opinions from people that have been doing it longer than you or that you just look up to in this industry, but then also realizing, okay, is it a no? Is it a not right now? Or is it just, this didn't work for that person, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to have the same failures or the same mentality, or you know what I mean? When people start giving you their own personal experiences of another one for me was, I had a lot of people in the beginning because I wanted to really do a lot of social media. It was the pandemic. TikTok became a huge platform. We were doing Clubhouse together with Christine. And I came from a marketing background in college. So for me, it was a natural, okay, build your brand, be out there, get your face out there, do social media. Now, there's a lot of people in this industry, and I'm sure you can attest to it, that don't believe in social media or don't use it because they don't feel comfortable or confident that that's how they want to run their business. So I always say, it's not like a one size fits all, especially in this industry. One person can generate all of their business from social media while someone else can't. So just to say I'm not going to do that doesn't mean that it's not going to work. It's making it work for you or figuring out what you need in that season or stage of your life or your business.
That's exactly right. And so powerful, so powerful, because we all are on our own path. And that path is absolutely going to vary by the individual. There is no cookie cutter of any two people, regardless of them starting at the same point.
You could start at the same time, work for the same company, work on the same team, have the same CRM system, use the same social media platforms. Does not mean that your business and that person's business are going to be identical. You could follow the same scripts. You could do everything, to try and mirror or mimic someone else. And that is what I think has been such a growing point for me, is finding my voice, finding what works for me, finding what doesn't work for me, and then applying it or being consistent with it, right? Because how many times do we try something and we realize that it's a really good thing, or it was fun, or we enjoyed doing it, and then we just don't stay consistent with it. And that's the reason it fails. It's not because you weren't doing it or that you didn't give it an opportunity to try it, but now you aren't consistent with it. And I think the consistency was a huge learning factor for me of, okay, you could try a bunch of different things, but if you just do a bunch of different things, and then you're not consistent with it, it's not going to bring you success. So I think that's where a lot of people in this industry, because let's be real, the industry has gone up and down. So what works for a certain time period doesn't work for another time period. I know my business right now, I have more refinances this year than I had the last 2 years. So I have to pivot my attention now to another aspect of my business, where maybe I don't have the time to do, all the social media videos and things like that. But I know social media works, so therefore I have to be consistent and I have to make the time for it, even when my business has changed or I've changed as a person from being, early 20s to now going into my 30s, and I'm in a new state right now. So I've learned even what works in one state doesn't always work in another state when you have this multiple license, job that requires you to serve others in different areas and different environments.
Yes, 100%. And you touched on, so two things. One, I was just listening to a podcast and they were speaking about Charlie Munger, that's Warren Buffett's guy, right? Partner. He actually has a quote out that says, consistency will beat intelligence every single time.
Every time.
Mm-hmm. Every time. So you could be the smartest, most brilliant person that can sit in the room and recite out everything, but the person that just keeps doing it over and over and over will always win over intelligence. So to everybody out there, and what Madison said was very, very important, right? It's going to vary. Markets are going to be variables, right? What's happening in the economy? What's happening in Florida versus New Jersey, right? How do we market there? What is our messaging? How do we approach it? That part of it, you're always going to modify. You're always going to keep turning the dials to figure out up and down and in and out. But the fact of the consistency should never change. that part of it, and I just ended a meeting where we were talking about always showing up. And
Yeah.
there's another message of the person that is always showing up and always there in the long run will win. Even in the short run, it may look like they're not winning. If you look long enough at the end of the race, they will be further ahead in the long run. So
Yeah.
those are those disciplines and those habits and those lessons that we're learning. And the second thing I wanted to say, because I'm a junkie, guys, when it comes to podcasts and videos
Me
and
too.
stuff.
Me too.
I can't consume enough. I love that kind of stuff. So this morning, Gary Vaynerchuk that I was listening to was speaking about the saddest thing that he has ever seen is speaking to someone in their 80s that has regrets.
Yep.
Because they realize they don't have enough time or runway to actually accomplish those dreams and those things that they wish they would have. To everyone listening, I don't care if you're 20 or if you're 79,
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
Do not waste this moment. Do not waste this time. That is actually what Say Yes is about. It's about going in and Madison said it.
And don't give up. I think don't give up. That was the big one for me. Like, how many times throughout these last couple of years was it tempting, or even within reason, to want to give up, right? And for me, it was just like not accepting no as an answer and not giving up. And that to me has given me a lot of what's the word? I'm like, it built character for me in that like resilience aspect.
Yeah.
So I just don't give up. That was a huge lesson for me. And like, these are so simple. It's, don't give up, act as if, never say no, do it, say yes every day. And like, they sound so silly, but like, it's the consistency of continuing to do them and the consistency of not giving up, even when it doesn't work out for you or someone tells you no, or the not right now aspect of everything.
I love it. I mean, I'll tell you, Madison, the biggest lessons are in those simple things. It's not complex.
And you don't have to overcomplicate it.
Yeah,
we overcomplicate it with our problems and our excuses.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, listen, we all know life is hard. I don't care who you are. I don't care how glorious your life looks on social media. I don't care what everybody believes. Every single person is going through something. We just don't know what the something is. It really doesn't matter, right? At the end of the day, we've only got this one to live. So if we only got this one to live, heck, let's make it worth something, right? Let's really, really do it. And on that note, I'm going to wrap us up with my final question, because that's a perfect lead-in into how we wrap this up. So Madison, one of my beliefs, and this ties in perfectly to your act as if, is I believe that we all are unlimited. I believe that we don't reach our highest potential, that we leave too much on the table. Like on our way out, we want to be empty. We want everything out, right? We want to do
regrets, it all. No regrets. Unfinished to-do lists,
Correct.
None of that.
Let's do it, right? So with that, if I had my little magic wand and I said, you could accomplish anything, unlimited resource, unlimited knowledge, anything that you would want to do in this life, what would that be and why?
If you're a loan officer who wants more speed, more support, and a lender that actually invests in you, well, this is Laura Brandao, president at MLB Wholesale. And we're not just closing loans. We're making lives better through real education, powerful programs, and a remarkable team that is there to help you win every single day. At MLB Wholesale, your growth is our mission. Your success is the standard. And when you partner with us, you're never doing it alone. Ready to level up your business? Let's build something remarkable together.
So the first thing that came to mind when I saw this question when we were talking earlier, I think it would to be able to form a community And the more I've thought about it, it would be a physical location or a place where people could come together, and it doesn't matter what industry or business you're in, where we could truly help each other collaborate and grow. So for me, if that was a community center, a coffee shop, a yoga center where I could just have people from all stages of life and all walks of life, where they had a space where they could create and they could network and they could talk and they could collaborate. And so me and my sister have like talked a lot about this. Like we've always, I don't want to say joked, because I feel like this could actually happen.
Yes.
But like
I don't see why you couldn't.
yeah, like the coffee shop is the first thing that comes to mind. Like owning a coffee shop, but not making it a standard coffee shop where you come in and you leave, like a place where people could really come together and use that space to be creative, or to, that you always hear about these entrepreneurs and things, they started their business in a garage, right? So if I could provide a place where people feel comfortable and confident and had the resources and the tools to just come to a space, enjoy a cup of coffee, enjoy conversations, not have all this technology stuff, just bring it back to like your humble roots of just community. So some sort of community building place is what comes to mind. And I think the coffee shop for me was the first thing that came to mind. So owning a coffee shop or owning a space. Yeah.
I love it. And so Madison, it's interesting. I love this question, right? And I'm always blown away by the answers from the guests. And I'm starting to see a theme of the different guests where a lot of people, like this is fascinating to me, right? Because no one's connected in terms of knowing each other, right? But yet I'm starting to hear a theme of people going back to grassroots and trying to dump the technology and going back to a physical community. Multiple people have had things where they've wanted to do something, not exactly what you said, but
of course,
all a theme of trying to go back to a simpler time.
Back to basics, right?
Back to basics.
I mean, this is what we're doing is beautiful right now.
Is.
I think the fact that you have the ability to do that, but I think what a lot of people are missing or saw, like, I think the pandemic taught people a lot of lessons and things like that. Like, I know for us, like with the Women with Vision group, for instance, we love our in-person meetings and things like that. But what excited us the most was getting to come together and be together in person. So something that I could create that had physical presence. It wasn't, an app or, something like that. I want it to be like a community center, right? And that I think is the most important. And what you said before, like human connection and consistency will always surpass intelligence and, all this other technology stuff. I think it's community, communication, and consistency. The three C's of life.
I love it. And I think as AI becomes bigger and bigger parts of our life, I think the differentiator is going to be in our human factor.
Yeah.
I mean, I think people are going to quickly start to get a little bored of how fast AI is. And they're going to go, you know what? I just want that human connection, because it's great that, hey, AI is going to be a lot more.
And the instant gratification of this society, of course. But there's something about also achieving things or building something that takes time. That doesn't, you don't just put in, I want to build a business and like all of a sudden it computes a whole business plan for you. Like there's something about curating and creating and collaborating that's what sparks excitement. And that's what kind of makes you different from the person next to you that's working the same job in the same position as you. So that's for me what I would hope to accomplish.
I love it. And there is no hope because you just planted that seed.
I planted the seed.
And it is out there in the universe and now it's just for you to grow. So thank you. Madison, you are amazing as always. Please share how people can learn more about you and connect with you.
So I am Mortgage Madness online. That is my handles for TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. So just quite literally look up Mortgage Madness and I will show up. And then you can also listen on Laugh, Lend, and Eat, which is available on all the major podcast platforms. Fabi and I are hopefully going to be starting up another season some point during Q1. So we're just figuring out the logistics of all of it. But yeah, find me online, follow me, send me a DM if you have questions or want to connect, or find me in person. I'm in South Carolina now. So anyone listening in South Carolina, I just moved here a couple months ago, so I can use some business partners and friends and connectors of this industry.
Awesome. Thanks so much, my friend, and
Thanks,
keep shining
Laura.
bright.
Bye.